Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks, starting with the SP500 here, the cash market. And as you may know, this is a daily chart, and we're looking at wave 1 to the upside with an ABC back for wave 2, and now we're also looking for wave 1 to the upside and wave 2 back to the wave 1 and wave 2 here. So this is what we're sort of focused on, and if this is correct, then this move back from wave 2 is going to be our trade setup into wave 3 over here. So we'll look at try to trade this wave 3 to the upside, which should be the longest structure within this larger wave 3 movement here. So let's just go into the 15-minute chart and just pick that up. So from this wave 1 here, we've got the A, the B and the C for wave 2. Not sure why that's drifted off there, but plonk that back over here. And this wave 1's done a bit of a runner, so we'll put that one back over there, this one over here. And yeah, so from wave 1 coming up here, then an A and a B and a C for wave 2. So I'll just put that labeling in there. So it does appear that we've got 5 waves down in this first little move here. Just want to straighten this wave 1 up here. It needs to be sitting on there, right? So it does appear that we've got this down as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll have a closer look at that in the indices video. We'll be looking for a little bit of a rally as a wave B and then down for a wave C. Once we've got that in place there, what we'll do is we will look for to go long on top of the wave B here. That would be the safe trade at that point. At the same time, we'll also look for a better entry with the first impulse wave up here, so the first little 5 waves up here. Once we've got those 5 waves here, then that will give us what we understand, that once we've got those 5 waves, then we're going to get another 5 waves here. So with that in mind, what we can do to manage our risk better is to go long on top of this little one here, which will be the A, the B and the C, a smaller fractal of this bigger fractal here. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment, and I don't see any sort of issues with this at the moment either. It's all pretty sort of straightforward. So we'll just allow that to play out there, really. And the E-minis are going to be the futures are going to be the same as well. So we're basically just looking for, we've got wave 1 down here, we're looking for an ABC here, and then we'll be looking for little 5 wave structure in here. And then for the trade setup, you can, there's many roads to Rome. You can do whatever you need to do, but basically, the safe trade would be looking for this little first 5. You could do the first 5 waves in here as well. I mean, you could buy at the bottom here, but that's sort of you're sort of exposed at that point. You don't really have, you can put your stop under that, I guess. That's fine too. Yeah, you could do that. I like to use smaller positions with wider stops and make sure that I've got enough boxes ticked. And one of the boxes we want is that first 5 waves here, because if we get that, then we know we're going to get another one. But you could do that off the low here as well. You could do that down here, but you'll just need to do that with your own skill set at that point. But yeah, looking pretty good, really. We've got a series of wave 2 over here, 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here. I need to I've put these up to the next degree higher, but anyway, you get the gist of it. So last week we were waiting. Last week we didn't want to go long. We wanted to wait for this wave 2 to come back, and we're basically not quite halfway through it, but we've got the A wave and the B wave and the C wave at this point. So let's take this back to the daily chart so it's nice and clean, and we'll go over to the NASDAQ. So it's the same here for the NASDAQ as well. We've got wave 3 and 4, 1 and ABC for 2 here, and then we're going up for wave 1 again, and we're coming back for that wave 2 at this point, this wave 2 over here. So let's just drop into the intraday and pick it up in this little area here. So here we are over here. So it's much the same story here. We'll just drop in those the ABC here. So we've got wave 1 up here and wave 2 here and wave 1 here and then the ABC for wave 2 here. So we're getting closer to where we want to be within this particular structure. Also, what I wanted to also just say as well is that if you're using this Elliott Wave charting program, the Elliott Wave Algo and the AI and all the rest of it, now this labeling that I do here on this chart, here, you can now bring that through onto your chart. So if I bring up a different account, so this is a different account here. So if I just go back to the dashboard here, and also to now with in the dashboard, if you can put this on edit mode and bring in what you need for your dashboard. So I've just put this in here, this Elliott Wave Algos tool, so it can just get you to the charting program quicker at this point. So you can just click on this here, but this is a different account here. But if I go to, let me just drag this over a little bit further. If I go into here and go to Pete's videos here, and then go into the NASDAQ here, then you'll see that that you'll be able to drag this through here, and also too in the I think it's in the drawing list here, you'll be able to see how you've got duplicate alternative here. So you'll be and you can edit that as well, edit that here as well. So yeah, you can just add your own wave counts to this and build your own case here as well. But it's just you just might find it helpful that that you can just pull the wave count through. Now you also need to be a little bit mindful as well is when I sort of tune these in and update them and all the rest of it. So you know that I make this video at this time each day, so I'll be making any adjustments because look, you know, I mean, things happen. The B wave might be higher up here or lower here, and this might drop down on the open a little bit and do this and do that. But generally speaking, it's a nice way to helpful. So all of my work you can bring through. Now eventually we'll be able to I need to encourage, or you can help me encourage members in the chat lounge to ask these guys to start using this program, and so you can start pulling through their charts as well. So anyway, that's just a little bit of movement on the charting program, which is fantastic. Okay, so now we want to go over to the stocks, and we're going to be looking at Apple. Okay, so I'm just on the 15-minute chart. I'll just stay here. Now there's two ways to sort of view this situation with Apple here, is that from the top up here, we can come down and I can look at this as an A and a B and then 5 waves up here. So I've got this alternative B wave sitting here, so I can't rule that out just yet. The other thing here is that on the extended hours, this market here dropped below this low here. So on the extended hours, it makes sense to look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for wave 1, and then the ABC pattern here. So this ABC pattern here, we're looking for this to move down last time we spoke. So yeah, I think we need to come down a little bit further before we can look at this. So it's not the cleanest count because of this here, so we need to be a little bit careful on this, but we'll just let it play out first on this. But yeah, we've got a very clear A, B and C here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we've got a nice ABC. So it does make sense now that we can look to go long above that top there in this case, because what we should see now is this low here taken out, and we could probably see that taken out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then up, and then we'll try to improve on our our entry over here with this one. You know, we'll try to get this sort of sitting over here on on this a little bit lower. But anyway, we just need a bit more time for that to play out, and I'm just going to try to keep these a little bit cleaner in here, because as folks pull the data through here, then the cleaner this is, the better. Otherwise, it'll be a little bit confusing, you know. Okay, so over to Amazon. Okay, so just on the intraday here, on the 15 minutes here, we've got wave 4 here. We'll need to look at this as wave 1 to the upside with an ABC pattern here for this. Now also, this is just doesn't have the aftermarkets price action on it. So obviously Amazon had their earnings. We do have a nice ABC pattern here, and if I look at the aftermarket here, just on this chart here, just to sort of look at the intraday price action here, we've got this nice ABC pattern down here, but also we've got this little 5 waves up here, and we've also got this move up here as well. Now I could look at this as an A wave up here, a B wave, and then a C wave here, and we come down here further. That's one way to look at it. I could also look at it in terms of going up for wave 1 here, back for wave 2, 3, 4, 5. That would look okay at that point. I could also look at this first move up here as wave 1 and 2 up here as, you know, as a larger move to the upside as well. So there's a few ways to look at this, but at the end of the day, if this top here gets taken out at 234, 235, whatever it is, then we need to be long at that point. So with that in mind, taking that back over here, 235, it's really about this sort of top over this point over here for this. So it's about here somewhere. But we'll just let it fill. We'll just leave it for the time being. We'll just let it play out. I mean, the you know, I mean, Amazon is you know, well, you know, it's Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are all tussling for the cloud space, and Amazon got in there first. Microsoft were left with their pants hanging down. They got caught out. They're trying to catch up because they got the distribution. The capex on this one is $100 million. They're going to be spending on that in that space. I think Microsoft is, I can't remember, 80 or 70 or something, and then you got Google, you know, there as well. But these three really dominate that space, and the money that they're spending on, you know, to accommodate AI is huge, and they're all sort of tussling for it. So they'll all sort of move along, you know, in the same sort of way to a point. Yeah, but anyway, let's just allow this to play out here, and we'll see if we can get an entry on that, and then over to Nvidia. So with Nvidia here, we called in the low down, well, after we've got a bit of, you know, a bit more information. So yeah, I'm just looking for this 5 waves up here, and then an ABC, and then we'll look to add to this position again here across the 130, which is minor group 1, which is the 130 is really important, and we're seeing a classic trading levels pattern emerge from unfold at that particular point. So we need to see this first high above the level, then the correction, and, you know, we can go long above the tops here, but we'll try to get in over here a little bit better than that. So we'll try to get on this B wave here. We maybe even be able to get in even a better position still at this particular point. So anyway, looking good. Nothing really to do here at the moment. And then over to Meta. So just on the 15-minute chart, picking it up from the last low down here, is that look, we're trending along okay. I can see that it was, you know, we got our beginning here, we got the middle where it's strong, and then we've got a bit of an end over here. It wouldn't surprise me, as I mentioned before, if we need to look at a bit like Google and the rest of all of this is up for wave 1, and then an ABC back for wave 2, and then up again at that point. So we may end up seeing, you know, a bigger correction across the 700 here. We can see that the angle of this particular price action here is tiring out a little bit, so we just need to be a little bit mindful. But you know, when you think about it, if if the NASDAQ and the S&P are pulling back, need to do a little ABC. So if we just imagine this for a moment, so the NASDAQ and the S&P need to push up into a B wave. They need to push up in 3 waves, and then they're going to have a C wave down here. And then they'll be going up again. So we probably end up something like this here. I'm not exactly sure. So we're just going to give it a little bit of space to breathe, and we'll just see how it goes. I mean, same sort of story as I mentioned yesterday. I can see different ways to count this up here, so I'm just going to leave it. We're doing all the right things at the right time, but you can see the angle of this price action here is not the same as this one over here, so it's a sign of weakness. So we could end up coming back. If you do want to lock in any money, then this is the time to do it. But otherwise, I'm just going to let it chill, because, you know, we just want to, we're basically working, this is 700 here, we've got group 1 above and group 2 below here, and we're keeping the stop below group 2. So that's its natural swing range, group 1 and group 2 here, and we'll just allow that to play out. So that's that. And then we come over to Netflix. So Netflix. So once again, just on the 15-minute chart here. So basically, I feel like we still need to push higher for this. Now, like I said before, I don't know if I've got this counted right here as wave 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here, and looking for this as the third wave going up. There's a lot of, you know, choppy price action within all of this, so we're not going to get involved in it. But when we think about it, this is the arrival here, the reaction here, and this will be the first high above the level, and then there'll be an ABC pattern over here, and then we can go up again. So it's basically this pattern here that we're looking at, and we've done this, we've done that, and we're about here somewhere. So we've got some more to go up. All I'm saying is that the wave count up here can be interpreted in different ways. It's still bullish, it still needs to go higher, but we're going to wait for that top and then a pullback. Now, it could pull back below the level, the main level here, or it may not. It may do something like this here, but we'll be aware of that, and we'll be onto it. So the takeaway here is that if you're long, because we've talked about it in various ways, you can stay long, but we're getting a little bit closer to the end here. Now, I could extend this up here further. There's not a problem, because I could easily look at this here, like I've got here, as 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2, and this is, whoops a daisy, and this is just the third wave. So we could end up something like this here. You know, this move here with anyway, it doesn't matter. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, then the third. So we've got two here, the third wave, and then another 2 over here. So it can certainly play out like that. So don't worry too much about the wave count that I've got here at the moment. It's not solid. Okay, so that's the main point, and we're not going to trade it, even though it's going to go higher. Then we come over to Google. I'm just staying on the 15-minute chart here. So we've got this top here. This is also a bit of a classic trading levels pattern, where we've got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and now we've got this ABC pattern here. Now, we can look at it as wave 3 to the upside, but we could also look at it as an alternative count and have wave 1 up here. So we don't need to get into that at the moment. We just need to sort out this correction here. So last week when we were talking about this, we were working through this ABC pattern here. So what I could do here is I could put this wave C here, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So that could be the end of it here. But I don't like to do that without any evidence. So what we'll need to do here is just be a little bit mindful. We know that the NASDAQ is going to push up in a B wave, right? And then it's going to come down in a C wave. So this market could do something like this here before we're ready. So we don't need to do anything here at the moment with this. So I'm just going to leave this as well here, but probably something like this here, and we'll be focused a little bit more on it over here. It'll be sort of, you know, the same old story. There's nothing to trade, and then there's everything to trade. So choose your markets, because you'll be, you know, presented with lots of food at the time. Rightio, so we need to move over to Microsoft. Okay, so with Microsoft here, just on the intraday, it'll be much the same as Google here. Now, we were looking at this wave 4 last week, and we could put the C wave here for this, but I think we need to put it, markets just love going across large numbers, and this 400 here is a medium level. Then we've got, I just call it 1, 2, and 3, in this case 10, 20, and 30. What I normally find is when a market locks under the number 2 here, right, in a downward trend here, then it's going to be pulled to this number here, to this 400. And if it's going to be pulled to the 400, yes, there will be a bounce off it, but it can go further at that point. So in a bit of a nutshell, we're looking for 5 waves down at this point. So that's the thing. If you get this accurate here, if you put things on the tops and bottoms, when you go to do the drawing here, it'll give you the right labeling. That's one of the beautiful things about this charting program. So we can bring that down here. So it's probably something like this here. So once again, a little wave 2 here, 3, 4, 5. So it's pretty much in line with what we're looking at with the NASDAQ and that. And then we'll have a look on the first impulse wave to the upside at that point. And we come over to test. Okay, so yeah, I brought the stop down from being above here, wherever it was up here. So I brought it down to this little high here. That shouldn't be breached at that point. This is also the 365 here. So this is a little bit interesting. We may get stopped out here, but I just wanted to protect it anyway. The 365 here, 365, 372, and the 380 is all part of group 2. So when we're looking at a market, we're looking at the same as Microsoft. This is 400 here. This is 1, 2, and 3 above. Right, and you can see how it locks under, it got stuck under the 2 here, so then it belongs to this number at that point and until it gets out of that. So it's just good to know your numbers. But this is group 1 above and this is group 2 below here. So the 65 is the lower end of group 2. Now this number, this trend here, even though it's below the 65, it hasn't retested it as the resistance yet, because you see how a market can come through here and then go back, and it's like the 400 here, it comes through here and then goes back and tries to test it. Do you know what I mean? And it's just a bigger battle in this case. So you normally need to wait to find out if that number is secure or not. And once it's secured on a particular side, then you can be on that side, so you can be on the right side at the right time. But this 65 hasn't become the retested resistance yet. So I probably shouldn't have the stop this close, but yeah, this should be wave 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 and 5 coming down. We want this wave 3 here, by the way, to be longer than this wave 1 here, unless this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 and overlapping here and then having one more little move down and then moving back up at that point. So we'll see. But obviously this market's under a lot of pressure. As I mentioned before, when you when you take a political stance, is basically you're voting for, like a football team. You take one side and you're on side. So as a marketing person, it's difficult to market your product to the opposition at that point. So, but that's been a bit obvious for a while. But yeah, all in all, we should sort of, I don't know where the low is down here, but I'm thinking that what will happen if the 65 becomes the resistance, it's going to come to 50, and then it's going to give us some sort of classic trading levels pattern here on the bearish side, and then drop down to 30. So we'll probably be in the 30 or 20s down here somewhere if this is going to be the case. But we'll just keep, we're basically just doing the right thing from B here. We're looking for 1 and 2 and 5 waves down here for the wave 3, and then 4 and 5. So we'll just see how it sort of plays out. But I've set the target in the spreadsheet at in the portfolio stock check or whatever at 330. But we'll need to probably adjust that. We'll see how we go at that point. And then we come over to Bitcoin. Okay, so I don't really have a good grasp on this at the moment. Basically, this move that we've had up here, I've had this as wave 3 up here as an A and a B and a C wave here. So I can have this as an A wave and a bigger B wave and down for a C wave, or I could put this wave 4 here over on this one here and look at this as 1 and 2 down here because it's sitting on the 61.8%. So I don't really know which is the best count for this. The other guys, Samny's got this count here where we have wave 3 here and 4 here and 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here as a bullish count. We've got that count. It's also, we've got a couple of alternatives here. He's got this one here where we come down as wave 3 here as an A and a B and a bigger impulse wave to the downside. Looking at all of this as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, or we've got this as a triangle pattern here, which I also kind of like a lot actually. So wave 3 here with an A, B, C, D, and E over here. In one regard or another, this is basically playing out across the major trading level here as as 1 is the strongest number, and this is really what this is really what's occurring here. And this is something that that I'd mentioned a long time ago, in that that we would be vibrating across this level for quite some time here. So I still think we need to do a fair bit more work with all of this. Now, it may not, come all the way back down here, but, we'll just see how it goes. I mean, hopefully it just, continues to move up and, on its halving cycle, from root carrot and others, that we should see this move up further. But I know, from trading is that 1 is the strongest number. So, I mean, so there's a lot of there's a lot of sorting out here to do, and yeah, I mean, we're getting through it. We've arrived here and we've had a bit of a correction. As the first high above the level here, it's a little bit small. I'm a bit anxious about that. I mean, yeah, so I could view this in different ways. I just don't think we spent long enough here at this particular level. You can go and have a look at other stocks at $100 or $1,000 or $10 or $100, and you'll start to see things. And there's also the different thing that you need to understand as well is that when a market, there's basically with Elliott, there's 5 waves here, right? So. And then the correction here, and then we go up again at that point. So if you're at a level, if we were at 100,000 here, or number 1, and we were right in the middle of the third wave, we wouldn't spend much time here then, would we? But if we were sort of at the top of wave 3, well, then we would be spending more time at this level here in that case, or if we were at the top, we'd spend even more time here because we'll need to do this whole trend needs to be corrected. So it just depends where you are within the structure. So from the third wave, the bottom to the top here, there's a beginning, there's a middle and an end, and you need to sort of work out where you are in that. So in this particular trend here, we've been here for we've had this trend coming up here. So we've got the beginning here, we've got the sort of middle here, we've got this sort of wave 3 here, and then we've got this one here. It's hard to look at this as a wave 2 here, So this is pretty big, I mean, I would just naturally expect that the pattern that we get here would be bigger than this one here. That's what I would think, even when we get this push up here. It'll be a bigger wave 3 up here, and then 4, and then once it's all done, then we go to the upside. So, like I said before, is that the 100,000 to me is still quite cheap. It's still very cheap because I mean, we all look at things. We're all right in the way that we look at sort of things because we're at different levels of sort of understanding. But my basic sort of philosophy about this is that it's just not integrated into society enough just yet. Nobody's really talking about sats. They're still talking about how many Bitcoin you got. So we're far from being market saturation at this point. It's still new. So as I've mentioned before, all of this, it doesn't matter where the price goes, this is still the time to accumulate. And once we do get a big correction here, it's not going to take long to get from this 100,000 here to 200,000. It's not going to take that long to get there, and then that's just a doubling up of the money at that point, you know. So this is still very young and still very new, and you know the volatility is part of the, you know, the growing experience, and you need to sort of soak it up. But the time that it spends here is opportunity. Don't see it as anything else at this point. Okay, just helping you with the psychological aspect of it all. Okay, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the week ahead.